This message direct from World Dairy Expo has been brought to you by Your Beef Checkoff. For more information about how Your Beef Checkoff investment in beef quality assurance helps raise consumer confidence in your product, visit www.mybeefcheckoff.com/BQA.
Opinions expressed on AgriTalk do not necessarily reflect the views of Vance Publishing Corporation, affiliate stations, or sponsors. Call toll-free 888-247-4825 to participate in today's program. Now back to AgriTalk and Mike Adams.
Welcome back. We're at World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin. We've been talking about this, and we've talked about the last few years, really, here at Dairy Expo, how the beef industry and the dairy industry working together on a number of common issues and common goals. And one of the areas we also want to talk about, of course, is the Dairy Beef Quality Assurance Program. Joining us now is John Freitag, Executive Director for the Wisconsin Beef Council, as we broadcast from the Cattlemen's Beef Board exhibit here at World Dairy Expo. John, thanks for being with us. I know you have been very involved here in the state of Wisconsin and really around the country in helping build a cohesive dairy beef quality assurance program. Why is that so critical to the dairy industry today?
Well, Mike, the reason it's so critical is because of consumer confidence. The dairy industry and the beef industry all know that we can raise all the promotion dollars that we want, but if we don't have a consumer to promote our product to, it isn't going to do any good. And as the consumers nowadays are asking more and more about our operations because they're further removed from the farm, we have to be more open with what we're doing and what we're talking about and the practices that we follow. And so that's why we're working with the dairy industry. The dairy industry also produces about 22% of our beef in the country, and they say, well, that's only like 2% of their income, but it's 22% of our product, and it just affects everything that we do, whether the two groups need to work together. We've worked with Pennsylvania, we worked with New York, Minnesota, California, everybody that's got large dairy populations. Now Idaho is starting to come into the fold, and we're all working together to try and devise a program that not only fits with the farm program, but also helps recognize the dairy beef industry.
Consumers are asking questions about their food and how it's raised, how it's grown, how animals are cared for. And while that can be somewhat of a challenge, I think it's also a great opportunity for those in agriculture to tell their story and explain why we do the things we do. And here are the benefits. Here is what you as a consumer get from our production practices. And we want to let you know that we're doing everything that we possibly can to make sure it's done the right way.
Absolutely. We know that we're doing the right thing for the consumer and for our product, but the consumer doesn't have a clue what's going on in the farm, and they hear all of these, our adversaries, so to speak, and they're telling them a different story. They're telling them half-truths. There's lots of misunderstanding out there, and so we need to tell our story. I keep telling my beef producers and dairy producers in our state, you need to go out and communicate with the consumer. They don't want to hear from us the talking guns necessarily. They want to talk to the actual producer, the person that's making the decisions, that's producing the beef and the dairy products, and so that's where we're going.
Talking with John Freitag, he's Executive Director for the Wisconsin Beef Council. John, how does the Dairy Beef Quality Assurance Program compare with the Beef Quality Assurance Program? Are they similar?
Lots of similarities, yes, absolutely. But dairy's a different breed of cat than the beef industry, and so there are different things that come up on the dairy that we need to help the producer better understand. What we don't find is we're always in a hurry. We've got too many things to do, and so maybe we don't adequately train our employees. Maybe we don't think of something that we should have done, and we just kind of gloss over it. And so our program is designed to educate dairy producers and help them train their employees to do a better job. Maybe it's just feeding and things that we have to think about when we're trying to keep our feed supplies safe from contaminants. Maybe it's disease prevention. Maybe it's housing, transportation. We know that the dairy animal is under a lot of stress when she's producing, and maybe she isn't as strong as some of our beef cattle when she goes to market. And so we need to think about how long is that cow going to be on the truck when she goes to where is she being shipped to? She's not just going to the auction market. She's going maybe an hour, maybe she's going 2 or 3 hours down the road. And we don't think of that in our everyday operations. And so our job is to try and help the dairymen, remind them of good cattle handling, animal welfare practices, and good management practices that they do every day, but in the heat of the battle, they sometimes forget about them.
How does a dairy producer become certified?
Well, in our state, and they can just actually go on the National BQA website as well and become certified. But in our state, we're working quite strongly with the dairy extension and the beef extension people. Our university has a livestock committee, and they're the ones that are doing the training. But they can also contact the local beef councils in every state, and somebody there will help them get signed up and get on the program.
This is really, when we look to the future for the dairy industry, for the beef industry, this becomes more critical all the time. This is a bigger and bigger part of what a producer has to do to stay in business.
Oh, absolutely. There's many things that they need to think about, but I think just doing a good job of taking care of their animals and making sure that the consumer understands it. We have to produce the product that the consumer wants, and if we don't, we're not going to be in business very long. One of the things that I hear a lot when I talk to retail and food service people is the consistency of our product, not only in quality but also in size and shape. Yes, there's a difference between what a dairy animal looks like and a beef animal looks like, but we need to get them a little bit more uniform, and we have to have a better quality product for our market cows, especially dairy and beef, because that product is used not only for hamburger, but there's lots of other good cuts of beef that come out of the market cows and the market bulls.
John, we've talked for several years now about the concerted effort for the two industries to work together. Leaders on both sides have really worked hard to find ways that dairy and beef can work together. You're in an interesting position, being the executive for the Wisconsin Beef Council, right here in a dairy state. How is the cooperation, how are joint efforts going between the two groups here in your state?
I'd say they're doing really well. We've worked with the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board the last couple of years. Our new beef extension person is actually hooked up and starting to coordinate programs with the dairy extension people, and there's kind of a renewed sense of invigorment and just cooperation. And not that we didn't have cooperation before, but we just kind of went down our own little path, and we're realizing that we're the same industry, maybe just a little bit different product. And so I'd say the cooperation is great, and I'm looking forward to a couple of things that we're doing now with PDPW and the Dairy Extension Department, and good things to come.
Back to the Dairy Beef Quality Assurance Program, are you seeing a willingness by dairy producers to get involved in this, to become certified?
It's pretty tough yet. My biggest job, and I kind of joke about it, and yet it's serious, is trying to get the dairymen to realize that they're a beef producer. I go back to what I said a little bit earlier. They're saying, well, it's only 2 or 3% of my income. It's not that they're not concerned about it, but they've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, and so that's what they're concentrating on. But it's my job and my staff's job, as well as others, executive directors around the country, to help the dairymen better understand that this is a big part of their income. And we're starting to see some things now where what happens in the beef industry is affecting the quality, or not the quality, but the impression and the perception of what's going on in the dairy industry. And so they're becoming more and more tied together all the time.
Yeah, I kind of look at it, the pork industry has their pork quality assurance program. Beef has had yours for quite some time now, the dairy. To me, these are in light of the times in which we live, and as you said, the adversaries to the livestock industry, they're always out there with negative information, misleading information. What this becomes to me is consumer assurance programs. They want to be assured that their dairy, their beef, their pork, whatever, is coming in a safe, healthy form and done in a humane way as well. So you're assuring the consumer.
Very much so. Back when I was younger, we used to go to Grandma and Grandpa's, or we lived on a farm, but other people in town, they'd go to Grandma and Grandpa's, or they'd go to their aunt and uncles for a holiday, and invariably they were on the farm. But now when 2% of our population or less are on the farm, they don't get a chance to see what's going on out in the country. They don't understand agriculture, and so it really is an assurance program to the consumer about, this food really is safe. Those people that produce the product are really concerned about doing it the right way. And so that's a big part of our job.
I think there's always been that feeling in agriculture among many, hey, if we're not doing anything wrong, why do we have to defend ourselves or always explain ourselves? But the times in which we live actually demand that. That's what the customer is wanting. They want to be assured. They want to be informed about these things.
Very much. We've tried to do a couple of different programs this year. We've changed our budgeting process, or not our budgeting process, but the programs that we're doing in our budget this year, so that we're more tuned to the consumer and trying to do a better job of getting them linked to the producer and not just going out and promoting the beef product itself.
Good luck to you. Again, where can dairy producers get more information on the Dairy Beef Quality Assurance Program?
They can go to WisconsinBeefTips.com. They can go to BQA.org. They can also go, there's a great AnimalCareTraining.org website that is used to train beef, dairy, livestock operators. There's even an equine site there, and there's lots of videos that actually show good practices and principles that producers should use to produce a safe product for the consumer.
Very good. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
John Freitag, Executive Director for the Wisconsin Beef Council. Next, Angie Horkin is with us, Director of Marketing for the Wisconsin Beef Council. We'll talk about some marketing and some new cuts that we want to talk about. Sounds good. We'll talk about it next on AgriTalk.